Okay, let's look at my foundation plan here. So it's time to start beginning to install these foundation strips here. So I've laid out my pieces. Last time we met, I was cutting these and I was in the process of getting all these laid out, and that's exactly what I did right here. Started at this point, worked my way around, finished with this segment last. Okay. This whole process, I was going off my blueprint, and I think I got it close enough. For this next segment, we're going to start using the glue gun. So please watch the video about the glue gun's safety that I just did. Take a look at that. My glue gun is nicely warmed up. I'm going to use my base as a workbench. Okay. So if you're working on a tabletop or your bed or wherever you're working on this, it's good to use this as a tabletop, like a workbench. Okay. So we're going to continue with our theme here, and we started the layout on this wall, we installed the first foundation on this wall, so it makes sense to glue this first piece of foundation on this section right here. So it can be a good idea to number these if you'd like, and then you can move them away, that way you're not going to get them all mixed up. Okay, so I numbered mine so I know which space that they went in, so I can move these away. That way when I go to put them back in, I know where they're going to go. Okay. I'm only going to show you a couple of walls in this video, and then I'll do a little catch up at the end. So the first foundation strip that I'm going to install. So remember, this is 3/4 of an inch wide. So from here to here is 3/4 of an inch. And the nice grain part here that you can see, this is 1 inch wide. This is 1 inch thick here. We want this to be stood up, so all along that 3/4 of an inch should be stood up. And we're going to start gluing this down. Now, the thing with glue guns is it can set very, very quick. So you have to be set up ready for this, and you have to be in like a fast nature when you're doing it, okay? So get everything lined up and ready to go. Keep your glue gun safe. You'll see when I'm done, I'm going to put it down on my base right here. And I'm going to start gluing this down. I'm going to do this back strip here. Now there's a couple of ways you can do this. You can do a whole line of glue all the way along, that's completely fine. Or you can do a couple of little dabs as you go along. Okay, I'll do two different methods to show you. The first one, I'm just going to do a couple of dabs. Again, you have to be very quick with this because as you do it, it's going to start cooling down. I'm going to flip this over. Now I'm going to nestle down one edge on my foundation line, nestle down the other one, make sure it's solid on your pencil line. Good amount of pressure down on it so it's set in place. And you can wiggle this in place, guys. It still has a little bit of movement. Give that a few seconds, hold it in place with your hands, and that should be on its way to becoming dry. Now you can't see it on mine, but I have some glue out, so when I press that down, a little bit of glue seeped out. You can get your fingernail once it's cooled down, and you can kind of just rub that off with your fingernail. It comes off fairly easily. Just make sure if you're doing this in a nice part of your house that you clean up all your mess. You don't want to leave this on the floor, and you want to make sure it's all cleaned up afterwards. Okay, so there's my first piece, and it's installed. I can move that, and it doesn't move around. Okay, that's my first piece done. It's easy as that, guys. The second piece that I'm going to do is this one on the left over here. So the first one I did kind of 3 or 4 little dots up there. This one I'm going to do a whole run. Okay, just a nice smooth flow of glue. I'm going to be quick with this. I'm going to bring it over, lay it on my line, give it a little bit of a wiggle just to kind of get it all bedded in. Bit of a pad. That is it, guys. That's the second piece installed. If you're having a hard time with this, you can pry it off and press it down a little bit harder if you like, but for the most part it should go pretty well. So when you're joining two pieces together, you want to make sure that these seams are nice and flush. Okay, these seams should be really, really nice and flush right there. Okay, so the process continues all the way around your project until this whole foundation section has been installed. Okay, now you might recall that I gave you a little bottle of wood glue, and I'm going to give you another video on this segment in a minute, but that wood glue can come in handy for this. Okay, but in the meantime, take care with this and install the remaining sections of your foundation.